Welcome back, everybody, to another Digital Gate Studios production. As always, joined by my guy Jeff over here.
Hello.
We have another spicy one for you.
And
you know it's spicy because, well, yeah, I know you're excited because I'm over here. I don't do this very often. You know it's spicy because, you know, if I've done it, I've worked on it 1,000 times. I don't build as many decks as this guy over here. He's the builder.
Yeah.
This is a fun one for me. This is something that I've been working on for a while. So if you watch
multiple sets, yeah.
I don't want to call this an update video.
No, it's not.
Because I started with the video or the deck list from the video that I posted probably in September or whatever.
Yeah, like the first month we were a channel, right?
Yeah, the Merciful Zoo list. I wanted to revisit that, but I ended up changing pretty much the whole thing. There's some stuff that's similar, obviously, but we're going to get into this deck and you're going to check it out. It's going to be awesome.
It's a great deck. So
much fun. Okay, so we're going to go Zoo. So we're starting with the best egg in Zoo, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go for Demi-Vmon. So, I mean, we've talked about this card 1,000 times, and if it's Zoo and it's us, then I think you guys know where this is going. We're going to go just straight into the Vmon. If you're playing green and you're playing blue, you get to activate a lot of cool options. Probably some of the best removal in the game for cheap. For sure. Yeah. So not only do you get the aggression of the Vmon, the draw with the Demi-Vmon, it opens those options up for cheap. So those are the 4 rookies and the 4 eggs that we play in this deck. We play 1 level 4. One swing for game level 4. And that is just going to just go into Arbormon. So just a gotcha card for game. You could obviously use the Beetlemon as the other one, right?
Yeah,
you could use that if you want. I like the Arbormon just because
Arbor's pretty cool.
I like the artwork, man. He's just chilling, just sitting there. He's just being patient. Because that's what I use this card. It's like you hold on to this card in your hand and you just sit and you be patient. And you wait to use it. So that's kind of what I figure. He's sitting in my hand when I look at that. That's the artwork for me. Okay, so now we're gonna get into level 5s. The level 5s of this deck are the heart and soul of this deck because they don't stay level 5s for very long. The whole point of this deck is to get from 5 to 6 to 7 as fast as you can. And this was my card of the week last week on our podcast. I love this card. I can't believe this card exists. I think it is very underused.
Oh, it's a great card.
This Mame Tyramon.
Love that
not
card.
only is it a 5-cost level 5, yes, the DP is low, but you don't use that DP ever in this card. No, this card is fantastic. When you swing with it, you can mill the top 3 cards of your deck. If any of those are level 6 green, you can Digivolve into it for free. Doesn't matter. It doesn't reduce the Digivolution cost. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-cost Digivolve, a 4-cost Digivolve. You just straight get to go into it for free and get to activate all those when Digivolving effects. And so whatever you targeted, whether it's an opponent's Digimon or their security, that's going to be a bigger body. The biggest key thing there is that you get to activate the when Digivolving effect at a level 6. So when we get into these level 6s, you're going to understand why we picked the level 6s we did.
Yeah, so this is obviously, for our Green Gatcha fans out there, because it's such a fun play style.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ways to play green for sure. Maybe I'm not a true green player, but the ability to, capitalize on what this does is insane for this deck.
And this is my style of play. I love high risk, high reward. It's like Machine Dramon, You're gonna build your Machine Dramon for 7. Yes, you're gonna have a huge body on the board, and then they have to deal with it. But this is the same kind of style where it's you're gonna swing. Sometimes you have no idea what you're gonna hit. You kind of play the odds when you swing.
It makes it fun, right?
Yes. But this deck is not about gambling the entire time.
No, it's controlled, right?
Yes. So that seems like a gamble, but there are a lot of cards in this deck that actually increase your odds. So we're going to talk about ratios, and let's get into the next one. So we have more level 5s. So all of these level 5s that we're playing are 5-cost level 5s because that's how you like to start the game.
Yep.
Honestly, in our tournament tonight, I pretty much won every game where I started my hand with a level 5 in my hand.
That's killer.
And this is also a Zoo deck where you want to go first, oddly enough.
Yeah, sometimes that's not the case, right? Like, back in the day when you dropped 10 drops, right? But
yeah. So it's a Zoo deck in the fact that you start with level 5s, not level 6s. So we're going to go into the next one. So we have another 5-cost level 5, the Torpiamon. A very, very good card because you get that inheritable. Suspend one of your opponent's 5Ks or less. And there is a very good level 6 that capitalized off that many, many times in my playtesting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Super, super good. So very, very good card. There's not a lot of 5-cost level 5s for green, but
there really isn't.
We're pretty much going to touch on all of them. But the important ones we're playing the 4 of.
Yeah.
So we're going to go 4 of on the next one is the Garbage-mon.
Ooh.
We're playing some garbage with some poop on it.
Playing some garbage.
Garbage with some poop on it. So this one's awesome because it does have that 8K, so you can adjust
Very
how
strong.
you play these based on what deck you're playing. So if you're playing against like a purple-yellow deck, and you have the option in your hand of playing a Torapiamon or a Garbage-mon because you want to get into that level 6 very quickly, you're going to play the Garbage-mon.
Yes.
Because you want to avoid the Flame Hell Slice. You want to avoid, this deck plays differently against every deck that you play as far as like how you play the deck, what choices you make when you play the deck. So obviously like the Metal Mamemon, it has that when attacking thing, but we play a Tamer that gives all of these level 5s that when attacking. So it's very, very cool. So don't think that that's the only way you get to use that. So we'll get into that in a minute, but all of these are eventually going to get that skill.
Of course.
So I was playing just the 12 level 5s, and I didn't get the consistency I wanted in the opening
12,
hand early on. So I did look, and there was, I think this is the only other 5-cost level 5 for green. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is it. Going all the way back to BT4.
Ooh.
Skull Scorpiomon. So I think I avoided this one because it is only a 6K.
Yes.
So you got the 5K with the Metal Mame, but it has the great effect.
Yeah, it triggers the whole gotcha.
Yeah, so you got and then you got the 6K with the Torpedo, but it has a great inheritable.
Yep.
And then you go to the Garbage that has the higher DP. So this is kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the 5-cost level 5s. This is the one where it's just like, you use it because you need to use it, but this is the worst of them. But having 2 in the deck and going 14 made my opening hand a lot more consistent. And,
so that way you can really hard play that.
Because you need the 5s for this deck to work at all. So those are my 5s. So we got 14 level 5s. Now we're going to get into the 6s, and this is where I went. If you know I'm posting a video, I've played the heck out of this deck. So I went all over with this deck, and there's going to be reasons why I picked these, and we'll kind of get into it as we go through. So I love this card in pre-release for BT9 because it was great anti-rookie rush for the pre-release. Dynorexmon. This card is so good, and it helped me so much in locals tonight, and it just... A lot of people don't realize how lethal this card is.
It's brutal.
And it's not even... It's kind of like a weird, like red-green Mechanori-ish kind of thing where it's just like you play it and it just kind of stops all. It stops your opponent from like swinging at all with little bodies.
Yeah.
It's very, very good against Bloom, Hydra, anything that suspends. So if you don't know what this does, when you Digivolve it, for each Tamer your opponent has, you're going to suspend one of their Digimon and gain a memory. So if you're Digivolving into it for free, you're going to net memory off Digivolving into this huge 5-cost level 6. You're going to net memory. You're going to do it for free, and you're going to be swinging with the 13K body. Very, very good. So on top of that, that's a when Digivolving effect.
Yeah.
So it's not a when attacking, because you don't get extra when attacking effects because you're not attacking with a level 6, but you do get the when Digivolving. And you get the all turns once per turn because that becomes this Digimon. So you're going to swing with the metal Mame or metal Tyranno or Mame Tyranno. Sorry, it's so many things put together.
So many tribes.
You're going to swing with that. You can Digivolve into this for free. You can suspend bodies on the board. The best thing about this Dino-Rex is that it's a very defensive card too because it's all turns once per turn. So you get to activate it when you Digivolve, and then when the turn passes, when they suspend anything of their own by attacking that's 6K or less, you get to delete it too. So it is such a good card, and it's an X-Antibody.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very important with the options moving forward. So very, very good card.
Interesting. Okay.
Plays very well against a lot of Tamer heavy decks, as well as a lot of, I'm going to swing with small bodies or suspend small bodies to 6. So when I was looking at that, I searched out green level 6 X-Antibodies, and it came up with another Dynorexmon that I run 2 of. So this was an X-Antibody all the way back in BT7.
Yes, I think one was one of the first level 6 X-Antibodies we got.
I think so too. This is 3 or 4, 2 to 3 sets, if you count EX sets, before we even got the X-Antibody option.
Correct, yep.
So now you can really capitalize on this. I guess that's a spoiler. There are X-Antibody options in this deck. You can... This card is really fun. A lot of people don't see it coming. So when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and it doesn't unsuspend. So it's got like a Samadhi Santi kind of like aspect to it, but it helps so much. And like I said, with the X-Antibody option, we're really changing the way that this deck Digivolves.
Yeah.
Because it's a very unique way that Green can do this. And this is why Green Zoo, I think, is much more sustainable and usable in these future formats than like we did Zoo in every color. I'm pretty sure we've tried it everywhere. There's so much control, and it's such an easy way to get from 5 to 6 in Green that I think that Green is probably going to be one of the last Zoo 5 to 6 colors that survives in the meta moving forward, because you can really control your opponent's board for no memory.
Yeah.
With this format moving forward. So like I said, we have a way with the Tamers that we're going to show you to make all of these swing and Digivolve for free. We also have the X-Antibody option that we can tuck to go into the X-Antibody stuff when swinging if the when attacking stuff doesn't trigger. So there's a lot of ways we're cheating the system, right?
Yes.
That's kind of what this deck does. It cheats the system. And it's kind of like a weird pseudo blitz kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're moving into the next one. So with the X-Antibody option, we had to put Grandis in this list because Grandis is so strong. It is so strong. It's so strong that the ratios in this took me forever to figure out, because you're like, you get Grandis, but it's only green.
Yep.
And so when you get to level 7s, you're going to understand like why it was such a hard thing to kind of figure out. But Grandis is really, really, really good. So when you swing with the level 5s, you can Digivolve into it for free. And you can trigger the effect of the when Digivolving that it has that lets you, if you're already attacking, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and redirect the attack to that Digimon.
Oh, yeah, the redirect is insane.
That effect was meant for the X-Antibody option alone.
Yeah.
But it does also trigger off of because your Digimon is already attacking when it Digivolves for free. So you get to use it on 2 different instances instead of just the one where you have the X-Antibody option. I don't run the Grand Kuwagamon in this deck that also triggers that, but the option and the ability with the when Digivolving for free Digivolve triggers all the time. And he is 16k on your turn. So huge. Very, very, very huge. Can swing over your opponent's Death X. I did it twice tonight. You can swing over anything that's pretty much big. It's a very, very good card. And then moving into my last level 6, another fun one to Digivolve into for free. We're going to Imperial Fighter Mode.
It's tough because I almost want to say this one's my favorite.
Yeah.
But I love your reasoning behind the X-Antibody stuff, you know?
Yeah. So this is the only one that's not an X-Antibody, so it won't trigger off of the option.
Yes.
But having this trigger is so nice because it's a 5-cost Digivolve. It's expensive. Like, you don't want to always do that. But just the base when Digivolving is return a 10k to your opponent's hand.
Oh, yeah. That's super useful.
Fantastic.
That does a lot of work. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. So we don't run anything blue underneath it. So you don't get the unsuspend when you attack with it, but you do get to suspend your opponent's Digimon, which is really, really good.
Definitely useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't get that when attacking, obviously, when you're doing the whole gotcha Digivolve for free kind of thing. You don't get the when attackings of the level 6s. That's why it's all about the when Digivolving. So very, very good card there. And I picked that card. You'll see why I went heavy on the reds and the greens when we get to our level 7s.
Yeah.
So
having the dual colors for flexibility.
Yes. So a lot of you'll be like, at this point, you're like, why don't you just run all green and just make it green? You'll see. Because the X-Antibody option needs to be a little bit more versatile.
The fans want Geen.
They want the Geen.
They want the Geen. So
going with the Geen, we're doing one of my favorite throwback level 7s from BT4.
Ooh.
Chaosmon. I I'm still in love with this card. This was our first Blitz card, if you want to go Blitz. It's not Blitz, but it does the Blitz thing as long as you're swinging at an opponent's Digimon. This is our first post your turn attack kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when this card came out, it kind of changed the game for a lot of green players. This is a very good card. I love this card because it can go off any of our level 6s. It's not an X-Antibody, so you can't Digivolve into it for free. But there are a lot of times tonight where you're already doing the free thing, but this is like your Blitz Omni. You can't do it for game, but man, it literally, it's so good because you're already suspending your opponent's Digimon, especially with the Torpedomon or like the Imperial Dramon. You're doing a lot of fun stuff where you're suspending your opponent's Digimon. And this can attack unsuspended Digimon too, so it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with it. It is the first, I think it's the first thing that can attack unsuspended Digimon in Digimon.
I'm pretty sure it was, set 4, right?
Yeah. So very, very good. The Torpedomon also, the inheritable, suspend a 5k or less, is not a once per turn. So
that's true.
Very good. So I've had a lot of internal debate going back and forth because I run also one Valderarm. So you can mess with these ratios. I think this is kind of like my cloudy part where there's so many times where I like these and then I need that, or I need that and I like the other way.
Like either way, you're not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
So I run 2 of that and then 1 of the Valder just for a little bit more control and get that pierce into security. Especially with this format, you're not hitting a lot of big bodies in security. You're hitting a lot of like I played Bloomlord twice tonight. You're playing, D Brigade. You're playing a lot. I think you're okay. The Valderarm is nice for control.
Yeah,
because you're doing that minus 7k each. Very, very good. These are fun, but they're not the best part of the deck.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna get into the point where you're gonna find out why we run red and blue, because we also run that X-Antibody option. So we're going to go 2 of the new BT10 X-Antibody. And I know you're a fan of this card.
I am. Yes,
you're
a
new fan of this old-ish card.
I don't want to say I jumped on the bandwagon, but I kind of jumped on the bandwagon with the BG10 Omnimon.
Yeah. So good. So the big combo with this deck, we're going to just pull out the option here. The fun combo with this deck, and I've researched it, and I made sure that the rules are right. So, because you get all the when attackings and when digivolving. The fun thing is to have the Metal Mame on board. You tuck the X-Antibody, right? You swing the Metal Mame. You activate his when attacking first because you get to choose the order.
Correct.
So you mill the top 3 cards of your deck. And if you use the Tamer, you can do it multiple times because you have when attackings there too.
That's true.
If you Digivolve into any of these 3 Imperial or any of those 4 Dino-Rex, you do that for free. You get their when Digivolving effects. Then you activate the when attacking of the X-Antibody option, and you can go into this Omnimon X-Antibody in the same attack. And if you have this in the sources, you can use it for the when Digivolving, because it's when Digivolving and when attacking. Because you don't get the when attacking, but you do get the when Digivolving. You can use this and do the gotcha. Check their security, trash 1, and then the big 16k check comes through. So it's like a huge thing. It doesn't always happen. I'm not going to say that like that is what you're going for, and if that doesn't happen, you don't win a game, but that is really satisfying when it happens.
Guys, this is the next step to Green Gatcha. Not only did you go from 5 to 6, you've improved that consistency, whether it's through the Tamers, whether it's through the X-Antibody option, whether it's through the Mami Tyramon, right? Now you're all the way up to a 7.
Yeah.
This is huge. Going from a 5 to a 7 in a single swing. I don't think anybody thought when Green Gatcha was the gimmick that they made all the way back in set 5. You could even argue set 1 with the Jogamon, right? Yeah. That this was going to be possible. So this is the next step of that type of playstyle for sure.
So much fun. We have one more level 7, and this is the OG level 7 from when I built this deck originally, or the first version of this deck. And I found it so useful tonight that I can't take it out. Not just tonight, right? But just in all my playtesting, because it can go on top of this X-Antibody for 3, but it can also go on any of the level 6s because it has this awesome unless you're black or purple, then you're out. But go on anything else, the Merciful mode. This is just destroy a body. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a Gaia Force on wheels, man. This thing is awesome. This thing also, it affects so many deck archetypes with that trash removal.
Yeah.
It's very versatile. Like there's a lot of times where you're like, oh, I don't want to give them cards. Okay, well then don't use it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of decks where it's like, you're playing against Beelstar, you're playing against Machine Dramon, Beelzemon, or it's just like, I'm going to manipulate the hell out of your trash.
Yep.
On top of that, you delete a body, and either they deal with it, or they're going to lose a security. The best part about this card is I did it a bunch of times in play testing and in tournaments where you do it, and then you're going to trash your opponent's security, and then you're back to one of these amazing level 6s.
Or even the level 7, you're talking about the BTC.
Yeah, or you can go back to the Omni.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Insane.
Yeah, so all of these level 7s that it can, or level 6s, and the 2 level 7s that it can Digivolve on top of, you're not mad when you strip it and you're back down to your level 6 because they all do amazing, great things. So very, very cool, especially the Grandest. Like you put it on top of the Grandest, you're like, oh, I'm back to a 16K. Like you're losing DP by going to the Merciful mode at that point. So very, very cool. I love this card. I think I like these ratios. They're a lot of fun. And then we're going to get into all of the options and Tamers. Can't play a Green Gatcha deck without your 1 HPD. So this HPD is so nice in this deck because you just play 5, 6s, and 7s. And being able to do the gotcha thing is fun, but being able to do it without any risk at all is awesome. There's so many times where you just like, HPD, I'm going to go into this Imperial for free. Cool, return a 10K, and then you're ready for your 7s. And the 7s are so menacing in this deck. Or if you did do your gotcha, you got into your 6, and you want to get into an Omnimon for cheap, or an Omnimon X-Antibody for cheap, or, Valderarm for 1. Yeah, this card is just, it's broken, and that's why it's limited to 1. A very, very good card. So now we're getting into the reason why we play the blue eggs. Best removal card for the value. I would say best value removal cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, Kikaitis Breath, I absolutely hate that card. Yeah. It's a 7 cost. For 2 less memory, now all of a sudden I love this card. You know?
Yeah, no, it's a great card, especially in security. I mean, it saves you in security.
Yeah.
There is an argument to try and find more room for a 4 of, or try and also play Gigadeath. Gigadeath is just so expensive, and this deck is already an investment for memory that that's my only removal. So when you're in the rope, if you're on the ropes, it's tough. So you want to stay aggressive with this deck. But those are the 2 removal options I've added for the deck. We play 3 of the X-Antibody. I feel like 3 is happy number.
I feel like with any deck involving that option, I just like 3.
I think 3,
it just works better.
4 is good, but I think that 3 is better because it allows you to make more room for the things that make the deck what it is.
Yeah.
This is an important card. It's not an essential part. It's good because it accentuates the way that these cards play. It leaves you open to other options. If you don't find the Tamer that lets the level 5s do the metal Mame, or the metal Mame Tyranno, the other combination. If you don't find the Tamer that lets them do that thing, you can still use the X-Antibody to do the Dynorex thing. You can still use it to do the Grandest thing. So there's a lot of different options. Let's get into the Tamers real quick. We run 2 Davis. Awesome card. We do run the blue with the fighter mode, and we also run the Vmons. There's a lot of times where this will just search out. If you brick on a level 5, you can grab a level 5. You can also grab a Vmon. You can do, great searcher. Obviously, there's not. I don't tell you about Davis. Yeah, everyone knows about Davis.
Davis is killer.
All right, I'm going to get into the 2 cost Izzy. So this Izzy is awesome in this deck because we're playing Zoo and we need to draw cards. This card draws tons of cards, and it sets up really nice for that Arbormon for game because it's only a 2 cost. So it's very good. If you don't know what this card does, on your turn, if you have a level 5 or higher green Digimon on the field, you can suspend it and look at the top card of your deck. If it's any Digimon, doesn't matter if it's a level 7, level 4, level 3, you just get to add it to your hand.
Doesn't matter color.
Doesn't matter. It's awesome. It's drawn me the level 7 I need so many times. Yeah, it's only 2 cost.
Only 2 cost. Yeah,
it's
not
a
bad
good way to memory check choke your opponent. You can Arbormon on it, like I just said. Like it's great. It fulfills the color requirement too for the Mega Death.
Yeah.
Because you're running the blue eggs. So very good card. I experimented. I went really high on the number early on, but I think two is enough in this deck because your deck does draw and it does do good things. Now we're talking about the best Tamer in the deck. And this is the one that you can argue you could maybe try and go 3 of if you really want it.
It's like the core strategy of the deck, too. It's so good.
Yeah, so I've kind of figured it's half the core strategy because you do run the X-Antibody option. So you're either going to use the X-Antibody to warp higher when you swing, or you're going to use this, which is the exact same effect as the Mami Tyra. So this lets any of your level 5 green Digimon do what that does.
Yeah, it's killer.
The fun part is if you have that Mame out,
yeah,
if you whiff with the 3 that it gets, you can do it again with this and search 3 more cards. So essentially, almost, I don't want to say guarantees, but it's pretty close to a guarantee that you're going to hit with 6 cards with all these level 6s.
You're playing so many, right?
Yeah, you're going to hit 1 and be able to get that free Digivolve, which is nice because there's a lot of times where your opponent is kind of is menacing on the board. They have a suspended like level 6. It's like 12 or 13k, right? And you're like, I'm going to swing with my 5k level 5 and I'm going to target it.
Yep.
And then you're going to be like, I'm just going to pray that I'm going to hit one of these. And a lot of times it works out and it's a lot of fun. So,
and they're just like, are you kidding me? How did you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is it, guys. This is the Green Gatcha X-Antibody deck. It's a lot of fun. I recommend you try it out. There's a lot of hidden gems in this deck from older sets.
It's a blast.
It's a lot of fun. So check it out, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.